Welcome to Dr.MaryOz's Radical Change Now radio program. Today you will learn how to combine healing and the law of attraction to better your own life in mere weeks. Join us on our journey, which starts right now. Here's your host, Dr. Mary Oz.
Well, hello everyone, and happy Valentine's Day to you. We're here in the Radical Change Now show with Dr. Mary Oz on the Empowerment Channel at Voice America. And we've invited back some very special gentlemen, Art Giser and Jeff Tambor. Welcome, guys.
Welcome. Thank you.
Hey, Dr. Mary. How's it going?
Good. Awesome. Nice to have you both back on the show. Super excited. You know, today's a special day for a lot of people. And a lot of people get excited about Valentine's Day. And, you know, for other people, Valentine's Day could be painful. So Art and Jeff and myself, we came up with a plan. How could we have a show today that kind of helps everybody, like no matter where you're at? So the title of our show today is The 7 Hidden Keys to Unlocking the Love of Your Dreams, Advanced Spiritual and Energetic Solutions for Older Souls. And I'm sure if you caught our show last week, you guys know that we spent some time talking about what is an old soul, what is whole being permission, and Jeff and Art are back this week, and we're going to dive deeper about old souls and whole being permission, but we're going to give it a little twist of how could we relate that to relationships that we're in and the relationships that we want, as well as how can we relate it to love. So anything you guys want to say first before we start?
Well, I'm thrilled to be here. This is Art. And I also wanted to mention it may be a different category of person. So those of us who've lost a great love in our life. And I know for me, I was I had 40 years of true love, and actually the anniversary of the passing was just a couple of weeks ago. And I realized I had a choice today. I could, and I don't mind grieving or missing, but I thought, well, no, I'm going to spend Valentine's Day celebrating both what I had and the possibilities for the future. So
I love that, Art. Yeah, so great point. It's not just people in a relationship or people who want to be in a relationship and aren't, but yeah, Valentine's Day evokes all different kind of feelings for someone who had amazing love but lost amazing love, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so today, for those listeners who are having that experience, we can celebrate what we had and have gratitude for that. So,
and I love that, Art, because even as a counselor and a coach, I often see that people really aren't very happy in their relationships, or maybe they settle, or, once in a while you find someone that's incredibly happy in a relationship for a long time. But I think a lot of people have doubts about their relationships, and it's rare that I find people that say, I was in an amazing relationship that filled me up and I loved and I adored. And it was really a healthy relationship, right? So I honor your ability today to go pure positive energy, right? So even though I miss, I'm going to make the best of it.
And can I just say, having that kind of relationship, there's luck or fate or synchronicity, there's finding your soulmate, and there's still all the practical stuff. And I know without energetic NLP, which I developed, but without using it in my own life, the relationship would have been a lot more difficult. Maybe it wouldn't have lasted 40 years. So, that sometimes people think it's just about finding the right person, but it's so much about the healing and clearing and working on yourself and your karma and the things we're going to be talking about. All of those are critically important too. And I know for me, without energetic NLP, the relationship would have been nowhere near what it was.
Right. Yeah. So I just want to tell you that it sounds like you've been doing energetic NLP for a really long time.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't want to let you know, but you gave that secret out a little bit. But Jeff, did you have some thoughts on that?
Yeah, I also want to bounce off that too, and that for me, relationship has been really central to my life. I've put a lot of energy in and around that, and it's something that I value tremendously. And I also can't imagine where I would be in my relationship and my relationships, both of my partner as well as in my friends, without energetic NLP. In terms of like the amount, like Art was saying, our intimate relationships are our biggest, or some of our biggest opportunities for growth and transformation and healing, because they light up all of our core stuff.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I've really been using energetic NLP and getting to these places, and I'm now in just an extraordinary relationship, like one of those beyond what I could have even imagined or asked for. And you know my partner, she's amazing. And I'm very aware that there's all the inner work that even made that possible for that to come into my life, for me to be able to attract that and let that in. And it was largely because of the energetic NLP that was even possible for me. And so I'm, profoundly grateful.
So awesome. I'm listening to you guys and I'm realizing we kind of represent the three different types of people we're talking about today. So Jeff is in a relationship and incredibly happy. Art had a 40-year relationship that was amazing, that he's missing but appreciating and being positive today. And then I'm not presently in a relationship. So I have to do the same thing that Art does, right? Which is, how do I embrace Valentine's Day, not let it catch up with me if I want to be in a relationship and I'm not, but appreciate the day and be good and solid, even though I'm not where I want to be in a relationship yet. So we have a very interesting mix here today.
Yeah, broad spectrum.
Yeah. So last week we were also talking about how Art Giser is the creator of energetic NLP. He's internationally known as an NLP trainer and a life coach, as well as a consultant, and he wears many hats. And somewhere along the way, Jeff was his student, and Jeff was really touched by his NLP training and the energy work and everything that happens in Jeff's life. So they merged together to create an amazing business, and they're actually business partners. So anything you guys want to add to that before I fire away with some questions?
Yeah, and just for the people that didn't hear last week, just the very short version is energetic NLP brings together some of the best of NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, which is a more very structured, logical, and extremely powerful approach to personal change. And we combine that with clairvoyance development, transformative and healing energy work, and spiritual principles. And energetic NLP is its own unique thing that brings together some of the best of all of that.
Awesome. Okay. And then what about, some people are familiar with NLP, some people aren't. But where did NLP actually develop from?
NLP developed as a way to find out why some therapists could get miraculous rapid changes with people, and other therapists were working with people for 5 to 12 years. And back in the 70s, when it first started, they studied these therapists who were considered to be magical, miraculous, and then developed this whole system based on that. And then they rapidly expanded it just from therapy to the ability of personal growth and change and acquiring new skills and abilities and unleashing what's inside of you. And again, very, very wonderful and powerful technology and system, and like everything, it has its limits. And I discovered in my work with the energetic and spiritual work, also fantastic, transformative, and it had its limits. But both systems, are all these different systems have different limits. So when you put them together, you can do this dance that makes personal transformation and growth fun and easy, and just a fantastic exploration and adventure.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me, Art, of our Radical Change Coaching Academy, right? Is really a combination of, we do Ho'oponopono healing combined with the law of attraction. And we find that when people heal first and then attempt to master the law of attraction, it goes a lot better when you get rid of those limiting beliefs and limiting energy blocks. Like we limit our own energy sometimes. And then we also combine it with something called results-oriented living. And we put that all together, and it's like, whew, it's kind of like an engine that doesn't want to stop, right?
One of the things I admire about you is that you are of that same similar mindset as us, that rather than going, I've got this one system and that's all I'm going to do, that you're going, well, okay, what can I add to it? What can I add to it? So I really admire that about your work.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Art. So I know you guys want to talk today about soul age, right? And what is soul age? First of all, what is soul age? And what does it have to do with having or not having the kinds of relationships that we want in our lives?
Well, I've been doing a lot of the talking. Jeff, do you want to start with this?
Sure. So in terms of soul age, one of the things we've experienced, and this is in energetic NLP, we always come from the idea that all of these are different models and ways of looking at the incredible complexity that is life and spiritual reality. So when we're talking about soul age, a lot of us have that experience of either feeling like older souls or being called older souls by people. And when that happens, it's common, it depends on the person, but it depends on the circle you run with. But this idea of a younger soul versus an older soul is something that's sort of out there that we encounter. And being an older soul isn't any better than being a younger soul. Just like being in second grade isn't any less than being in college. It's just different developmental stages. And one of the things we found with older souls is that they tend to be up to more spiritually complex lifetimes. And so whereas a young soul or a younger soul may really quickly apply a law of attraction or try to do something and just succeed really easily, and their older soul's going over there and saying, well, I've done the focusing and intention, I've followed all the law of attraction rules, and I'm still not necessarily getting the result. So maybe they go through a more complex path to get there. And oftentimes it's because as older souls, there's more patterns in play. They've been around longer, they've gotten more beliefs and programming and experiences and traumas and all manner of things across, if you're looking at it from an older soul, across many lifetimes, which whether that's the reality or not is a whole other conversation I'm not going to dive into right now. But this place that these older souls oftentimes have this more complex inner picture. And it can be really frustrating because things can seem harder. But at the same time, there's a great richness in it that's possible from having navigated through that increased complexity. And so Art and I love helping older souls work with that spiritual complexity with a lot more ease and joy, and to really harvest all that richness from it. Art, what would you want to?
Yeah, we just wanted to add, it's kind of looking at the energy of listeners and the people even that will be listening. Don't fret about whether you're an older soul or not. If this is even appealing to you, you're an old enough soul for this to work.
Old enough. I like that.
The other thing, if I can just, by way of a quick story, my friend John Friedlander, who we also work very closely, he's written a number of books on spirituality, psychic development, and I'll make a long story short, but I was at this spiritual healing center from John of God in Brazil, and I've been there many, many times, and John of God actually has been working with me for over a decade to improve my abilities. And it was the one time I was there, it was a really intense, rough trip. And I was talking to John, and I go, I think everything's okay, but it's just, I feel like my finger's in an electric socket 24/7. And he goes, well, you asked for a huge shift, so we could stop it if you want, but you don't want me to, so suck it up.
I love that. So be careful what you wish for, right?
Well, no, what I'm trying to say is, yes, and that those of you who came some mature older souls, you came in to have a complex lifetime. And that's really what you want. So we could try to stop it, but you don't want that. So how do we suck it up and learn to enjoy it?
And I would say even more than sucking it up, how do you learn how to be really skillful in how you work with that complexity So there's all this wisdom and richness and joy, and there's so much that can come from it. And especially in relationships, a lot of times older souls they're up to more complex exploration around relationships. So it's not just some simple, easy thing, but the more they go into that, the capacity, what's possible in your relationships becomes through the roof. Wow. So on one hand, there's more challenges that they have to go through in terms of healing and learning sometimes, or patterns that are in play. But the kind of love that can be experienced, and the kind of intimacy and connection and depth is just it's profound.
So now, what about for people that are listening and not in a relationship right now? Is that true of self-love? Like, how does whole being permission, which we were talking about last week, also relate to relationships with others and self-love as well?
Well, all of this completely relates to self-love. And as I'm sure the listeners know, when you have self-love, you're more available to be loving and to be loved. And just to do the very quick recap, whole being permission, for people that are new, it's like you have permission from your spirit, your soul, your conscious mind, the various aspects of your unconscious mind, your body, your spirit, and your inner wisdom. So all of those things, and we'll be getting to that later in this call, all of that relates to your relationships with other people. And as Jeff said, with your loving relationships, your friends, but it totally, because so many people on the call, and I'm sure they can tap into this, they don't have permission just to love themselves.
Right.
Just usually, I have to be perfect, or I have to do it right, or I have to do this or that. And most people just don't have permission. It's okay to just love myself. And it's not about ego. It's about loving yourself as a spiritual being in a body.
I don't even know if most people also realize that you can even give yourself permission to love yourself, right?
Well, good point. And one of the things that, especially with older souls, but with anyone, is that sometimes loving yourself, as anyone who's tried it can attest, can be challenging. And the reason it's so challenging, rather than just, I'm just going to give myself permission, is because of this whole being permission piece, because of our beliefs and our programming and our karma and our trauma and our contracts. There's reasons why that's challenging, and why the more we address and open whole being permission, that self-love and getting the love we want in relationships becomes so much easier, as opposed to just trying to love yourself in resistance.
And if I could add, we believe that people's lives are unfolding, through spiritual guidance. And so the fact that somebody's had trouble with self-love isn't wrong or a mistake. It's part of their path. And the opportunity then is to learn about it and is to open it up. So I want to encourage people, it's not a mistake if you've had problems with self-love. That is part of your spiritual path. And the next step is to open up to it. But you don't have to invalidate your past,
right.
Absolutely.
One of the things we always work with our clients with at Radical Change is how can we help you really believe and trust that all is well, right? Mm-hmm. So kind of what I hear you say in Art is that wherever we are in relationships, or wherever we are in relating to self-love, take a deep breath. It's okay. Whatever challenges you're facing, you're supposed to be facing those challenges right now. And we can't always see it, but all is really well. And we just want to open ourselves up and give ourselves full permission to know that.
That's so huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, Art and Jeff are going to share with us, what does this actually look like, right? How do you do what we're suggesting right now? So they're going to walk us through that. And I believe they're also going to create a group energy spa healing little session on love. So quick commercial break. When we come back, Art and Jeff will be here. I'm going to let them take over the middle part of the show, and you'll be in their hands. And we just want you to come back open to energy. And during the commercial break, you may want to go to www.DrMaryOzFreeGifts.com and check out the gifts that Jeff and Art have available for us. So they're there now, and they'll be there for the next 3 months. But we'd love you to go check it out today during the commercial break. And when we come back, just come back ready for some really powerful energy work.
Find out what makes the most successful people tick. Keep listening to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
Dr. MaryOz's Radical Change Coaching Program will help you set a healing foundation in your life and teach you how to manifest more of what you want. Are you ready to get the results and radical change you have been longing for too long? Very often our clients tell us that this is the most powerful coaching they have ever received. Come join us and start living life with more results, more love, more wealth, health, and peace, as well as inspiration. For more information, call Coach Sam at 1-833-447-CHANGE. Need help deciding if our Radical Change Coaching Program is right for you? Apply for a free strategy session with one of our coaches. Be prepared to dive deep and identify the areas in life in which you need healing and transformation. Together, we will clarify how to close the gap from where you are to where you want to be and discover what's possible now. How would it feel to get big changes in less than 30 days for you, your loved ones, and your business? Apply now by calling Coach Sam at 1-833-447-CHANGE or visit us at radicalchangenow.com.
Don't you just wish sometimes that life could come with a do-over button? We'd probably use it a lot more than we think. What if there was one do-over button you could use each week? Make that place the Voice America Empowerment Channel for Code to Grace, the Empowered Women's Guide to Life, with host Marilyn Mosier. Marilyn and her guests will help you find the key to break free from the chains of your life and start anew. Listen live every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time and 12 noon Pacific Time on Voice America Empowerment.
Take us on the go. It's even easier now. The Voice America Talk Radio Network has launched our mobile app for iPhone, Android, or BlackBerry. Visit the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market to download the app powered by Aircast. It's free and no registration is necessary. In minutes, you could be enjoying your favorite Voice America Talk Radio host, no matter where you are, in the car, out and about, while traveling, or anytime you can't be close to your computer. Catch up on the archives you've missed or discover new shows on the spot. Search Voice America at your favorite app store.
Follow us on Twitter for more great ideas at Voice America Empowerment.
You are listening to Radical Change Now with Dr. MaryOz. If you'd like to participate in our discussion today, the phone lines are open. Reach us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Let's get back to Radical Change Now. Here again is Dr. MaryOz.
So welcome back, everybody. We're here with Art and Jeff, and we're focusing on whole being permission and how to give our soul, whether it's a young soul or an older soul. Art says whatever age your soul is at is fine, but how to give our souls whole being permission in our lives and how it affects our relationships and our relationship to self and self-love as well. So take it away, guys.
Great. Well, first thing I want to say to all the listeners, we're going to start doing energy work, and whether you believe in it or not, don't be driving. If you're listening to this while you're driving, either pull over or turn it off, and it'll be available on the Radical Change website as a recording. But we're going to be using some very powerful energies. It'll cause you to go inward, which is not how you want to be if you're driving. So having said that, what we'd like to do, if it's okay with you, Dr. Mary, is that we're going to simultaneously be working with the energy of everybody on the call, and I'll explain how that works. But how about if we sort of demonstrate kind of a quick version of the process with you?
Sure. That would be awesome. Absolutely.
So let me just explain to the listeners who weren't on the last podcast. When your inner wisdom and your spirit are working together, and very often they're not, but when you set your intention for your inner wisdom, which is human, and your spirit, which has that vast awareness and perspective, to actually be aligned, you start creating something. And we call that something your miraculous self. Your miraculous self. So your miraculous self is when your inner wisdom and your spirit are working together. And we just like to call it your M for short. So if I say your M, I mean your miraculous self, which is your inner wisdom and spirit. And one of the things that allows us, and we work with people all over the world all the time through webinars and even recorded ones. And what allows us to tailor the energy for everybody on the call is we're going to ask you to put your inner wisdom and spirit in charge of what happens for you. So if you don't want a healing on love and relationships, that's fine. If you want it, we'd like you to just give permission, give 100% permission for your inner wisdom and spirit to be in charge of what happens. Because if you try to consciously control it or analyze it or critique it, you won't get much out of it. And then Jeff and I will be working with Dr. Mary. We're also going to be bringing energies in for everybody listening, like a whole symphony of energies. And your inner wisdom and spirit, will decide what blocks to clear, what programming to release, what to open up inside of you in terms of your natural capacity to attract love and sustain love and to grow love and to have the relationships of your dreams, because they are possible. And so again, if you want that, if you're listening, and you don't have to believe it, this is not faith healing, but if it's fine if you go, okay, I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm given 100% permission from my inner wisdom and spirit, if they exist, to be in charge of this. So it's totally fine to do it in that kind of loose way. And so we'll ask you, Dr. Mary, too, to give a bit about whole being permission. So
yes.
Give whole being permission for the work.
Yes. I give whole being permission to heal around love and relationships.
Right. And we always set an intention. So let me just ask, not what you think could happen, but what is your intention around love and relationships for yourself?
You're asking me that question?
Yeah, and all the listeners too.
Okay. So what is my intention around love and relationships? Yeah. For me, it's about being in relationships with others who are healthy and who are givers and takers at the same time. And for people that are interested in having an extraordinary relationship. And so I tend to really I believe that our healthiest relationships are relationships that we can co-create with one another, kind of without friction and getting in the way of each other. For me, it involves like trust and closeness, expression.
And I guess respect, being treated well.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely a person who likes to feel safe, yep. Secure, and important. Those are three big things that are important to me.
Right.
I like to feel safe and secure and important.
Right. And for you, Dr. Mary, and for everybody listening, just be aware of your own criteria. And for right now, de-emphasize, they look like an Adonis who's come down from Olympus. I mean, that's fine. If it works out that way, great. But really think about what really matters. What would, the old thing, if you're sitting in your rocking chairs on the porch, your 90s and going, this is a hell of a life, And then with your friendships, the same thing, with friends and the primary ones. So, Jeff, anything you were going to add?
Yeah, I was just going to add, in energetic NLP, we're always also adding or better to any intention we have, because there's the idea that our miraculous self, our inner wisdom and spirit, knows possibilities in the universe, knows things that we don't even know to want yet. And so we always want to set our intentions and then add or better. So inviting everyone in the audience to have that too.
And some of the greatest relationships, the people go, well, I wasn't looking, I didn't know I was looking for this kind of person, until I met them. And then like, oh, okay.
Don't limit how amazing it can be.
Yep. I like that.
Right. So easy, deep breaths, everybody listening, and Dr. Mary. And we're going to be with everybody, again, keep affirming you're giving 100% permission, again, for your inner wisdom and spirit to be in charge, or M to be in charge. And then with Mary, we're going to be both doing a bit of, we're always going to be working with the energy, but we'll also be telling you things we notice. So
a little bit of relieving.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeff, leap in whenever you're ready, and I'll do the same.
Okay.
So the first thing I would like to mention, Dr. Mary, a lot of family programming lit up. It's family, and not just your immediate family, but ancestral.
Right.
Programming, it's one of the things we work on a lot in our programs is parents are unconsciously programmed to program their children energetically, but they're passing on whole lineages of programming about love and self-love and relationships, most of which doesn't fit a 21st century person. So with your permission, we're going to work with your M to respect, love and respectfully move out a lot of that programming, if that's okay.
Sure. That's awesome. Go for it.
And almost all the listeners are lighting up on that, so we'll be working with you too.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, that was one of the first things that popped up when I was looking, was a lot of the ancestral programming also. And another thing that was lighting up, and this is also seeing this in other listeners too, and I tune into them, is there's these sort of next layers of protection in front of your heart, but they're not just in front of your heart, they're in some of the lower centers too. And I want to acknowledge it. You've done a lot, I can see, so you've done a lot of work on this, and really want to appreciate how much work you have done around the capacity to be vulnerable and connect and, have that deep love. And for the kind of love you're really wanting to bring in, some of these next layers of protection that are kind of old, they've served you in the past, but they're kind of ready to evolve and transform, so you can get into what you're wanting to go to next and really receive that and give that.
So they have no purpose anymore. They're not needed.
Right. They're trying to keep you safe, but doing it in old ways that actually limit what you're really wanting to have. And so with your permission, so we're just going to help those to clear and evolve and transform.
And what you said, Dr. Mary, that's so important for everybody. It's not that they're good or they're bad. They don't fit. They're not needed. If they were needed when you were younger, you've now let go of them. But you don't, for now and in the future, they're in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like, you still want your training wheels on your bicycle, if you're a mountain racer.
I don't want training wheels on my Mercedes.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. And just the other thing to emphasize is people talk about this around the heart, and they're also lower in your system as well, lower down, like in the root and lower centers. So just opening to clearing and healing around all that.
A lot of karma, of course.
Right. I was going to say that too. Yeah. And within our frame, what we want to look at it, what we want to acknowledge is that we don't look at karma as a good or bad thing or a reward or punishment model. The way we understand and look at karma is similar to the way the Dalai Lama talks about it. It's just these cause and effect ripples through time. And it can just play out in a lot of different ways, and it just tends to limit us in different ways. And so there's just these whole sort of, and we all have plenty of it. And so there's just some of these and with older souls, it's especially common. So there's just some different layers of karmic patterns that we're going to help clear, that'll help really open things up around that.
There's a saying in spirituality, the point of power is in the now, and there are popular books like The Power of Now.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't be technically are right now if you're being boxed in by spiritual contracts and karma. And we're not going to work with spiritual contracts today, though that is one of the gifts that we're giving will help people clear spiritual contracts about love. But for right now, we're definitely working with people on the level of karma. So like the two big restrictors are karma and spiritual contracts. So we're opening.
And programming.
Yes, and programming. And
So just everyone take a few deep breaths. And again, affirm you're giving full permission for your inner wisdom and spirit to be in charge with this, and getting playful with it if you can.
And by the way, we call it the Goldilocks Principle. You want your M to do what's just right for you right now. Remember, this recording will be available on Dr. Mary's site, and you can listen to it again. Don't try to do. You don't need to do everything at once. It can throw you into kind of a healing crisis. You're just whatever's just right for right now, knowing you can listen to it again. You can take it further.
Yeah, and oftentimes this work gets a process rolling that keeps clearing and healing and unwinding for days, weeks, or months even sometimes.
Everybody take a deep breath and affirm that you're giving permission for your inner wisdom and spirit, your M, to be in charge. And how are you feeling right now, Dr. Mary?
Yeah, I mean, I feel lighter than when I started the show. Mm-hmm. I feel like my heart feels lighter, but I also feel like I'm not really one to sense things, imagination in my mind.
Yes.
But when you were working, I sensed a bright light, like in my mind. So that's unusual for me. And then I just have like a lightness of heart that I don't think I live every day with.
But if people clear these things very often, they talk about, I feel lighter. Those are very, very good things. And for the people listening, it's more fun when you see things like a bright light or neon. And you don't have to feel or see anything for it to work. You just have to give permission.
And the others, for those who are listening and are on the call or on the recording, is sometimes when the energies are running, different feelings might come up or sensations may arise in your body, and even ones that may feel sad or happy or full range. And if that comes up, just be mindful with it. Just notice it and allow it to be there and breathe. Because when we get into resistance with it, it tends to jam, because what we resist persists. So just if things come up, if feelings or memories or thoughts come up as things are clearing, just notice them, let them flow by, breathe, allow, and it's totally normal.
And one of the things that we're working on, just some of you who do energy work will find this interesting. People tend to be aware of the 7 chakras in the body, and there's a lot more than 7, but there's ones above your head, below your feet. The ones above the head are setting the big frameworks for your life. So we're doing a lot of work on that. In your energy field, going up as high as 9 feet, 3 meters above your head. And most of you won't directly notice it, but later you may feel a little spacey or something. And we'll talk, which can be fun, but we'll get you grounded. After the commercial, we'll get everybody grounded.
Well, it's funny that you said that, Art, because when Jeff was speaking, right? So we love to teach people how to Ho'oponopono, right? Mm-hmm. And Ho'oponopono is a form of energy work. So when Jeff was talking, I was in such a peaceful place, I started to automatically Ho'oponopono. And then I stopped myself, and then I said, no, let the M do what the M needs to do, right? Mm-hmm. And then I was Ho'oponoponoing, and I felt amazing. And then you started to talk, and then all of a sudden I started to realize, I feel really spacey. So actually, and Dr. Mary doesn't feel spacey often. So definitely what you just said is actually what just happened to me. Yeah.
It's one of our specialties is making
lighter, clearer, and spacey.
I might need to have you guys on a couple of shows to find out what all your specialties are. So that was really cool. I do. I feel now that we're continuing, I almost feel like the lightness is a whole body experience, where I could identify the light in my head and the lightness in my heart. I almost feel like my body shed 30 or 40 pounds. I just feel like a whole lot lighter.
Yeah, I once had a client who described energetic NLP as spiritual energetic weight loss.
So can we do this every Wednesday?
Lighter.
Can we do this every Wednesday?
Let that lightness go below your heart, through your entire body, all the way down to your feet, to your arms, and to your hands. We want to include the whole body energy system and the physical body in this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It can even affect the DNA in a very wonderful way.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Well, before you put me into a trance, we're going to have to go to a quick commercial break. So let me shake my body a little bit here. We're going to go to another commercial break, but when we come back, we've got more time with Jeff and Art. And they've got some free gifts that you're definitely going to want to check out. And we're going to just really continue talking about whole being permission and relationships, self-love, and whatever else we feel you guys need to hear before we wrap up today's show. So quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with Art and Jeff.
Live up to your fullest potential. This is the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
Dr. MaryOz's Radical Change Coaching Program will help you set a healing foundation in your life and teach you how to manifest more of what you want. Are you ready to get the results and radical change you have been longing for too long? Very often our clients tell us that this is the most powerful coaching they have ever received. Come join us and start living life with more results, more love, more wealth, health, and peace, as well as inspiration. For more information, call Coach Sam at 1-833-447-CHANGE. Need help deciding if our Radical Change coaching program is right for you? Apply for a free strategy session with one of our coaches. Be prepared to dive deep and identify the areas in life in which you need healing and transformation. Together, we will clarify how to close the gap from where you are to where you want to be and discover what's possible now. How would it feel to get big changes in less than 30 days for you, your loved ones, and your business? Apply now by calling Coach Sam at 1-833-447-CHANGE or visit us at radicalchangenow.com.
Life can be confusing at times. There can be uncertainty, disappointment, and an inability to clearly see where you're headed. But it doesn't have to be this way at all if you understand how to take the next step in your life. Tune in to Living the Miracle with your hosts Michael and Raphael Tamura. We'll help you define the deeper meaning that awaits you in your life, have certainty in yourself, and learn to be clairvoyant. Listen Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Pacific Time, 2 p.m. Eastern on Voice America Empowerment.
Friend us on Facebook to keep up with what's empowering the world. Voice America Empowerment.
You are listening to Radical Change Now with Dr. MaryOz. If you'd like to participate in our discussion today, the phone lines are open. Reach us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Let's get back to Radical Change Now. Here again is Dr. MaryOz.
So welcome back, everybody. We're here with Art and Jeff, and I wanted to tell a quick Jeff story before we continue with the show. And, I think it was back in December that my daughter Sam and I were attending a retreat or a mastermind, and Jeff and Art were there, and we were out to dinner. And around that time, Sam had actually been in and out of the hospital a couple of times with some really difficult stomach issues. And, we were both a little nervous about traveling, and she was just coming out of these issues that we actually never really found out what was going on. But I was having a lot of conversation with Art to the right of me, and Sam was to the left of me talking to Jeff. And one thing I know is I know my daughter. And, for years I've been pushing flower essences and homeopathics and prayers and everything I could, I push on her. And she developed some resistance to that kind of stuff. So I was kind of half listening to this conversation with Jeff. But some point I realized, wow, he really has Sammy's attention. And he was doing some energy work with her, I think around her belly, right there at the table. And I'll never forget, after dinner, Sam was saying, Mom, that guy Jeff, whatever he does, it really works because, I felt it. And I was like, yes, finally, we turned her into a believer. But she was still talking about it on the airplane ride home. And if I think about it, she really hasn't had a stomach issue since we came home. Yeah.
She had a really big opening that night.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff, for helping her that way. But, just like as a testimonial to what we're asking our audience to open up to today, right? So Sam was a perfect example of how this is the kind of conversation she probably would have been resistant to, but in time of crisis, when it forced her to be more open to change and open, she really got a blessing and a healing from, and I think, I don't know, I think you talked maybe 20, 25, 30 minutes to her. It wasn't like hours and hours of energy work.
No. Yeah, it was half hour, I think.
Yeah, so thank you for that. So,
can I just quickly mention to people, anybody who feels a pull towards this, we train people how to do it. And Jeff is extraordinary, and we teach people how to be extraordinary. So I just want people to know it's not everybody's path, but if you feel any pull towards this, we'd be happy to open up your abilities.
Mm-hmm. And, thank you, Art, for mentioning that, because that's really what the Radical Change Now show is all about, right? We care about people's healing, transformation. We care about their lives, their relationships, their self-love. So we only bring on the show powerful people, powerful guests that really have gifts to offer people. And every once in a while, we have guests on our show that offer us certification programs or training programs. So it's like, we don't want you to just change your life or your family's life. We want you to help us change the world, right? And so there's no competition between what does Jeff and Art do and Dr. Mary, right? No. Like, we're collaboratively interested in helping the world heal.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
like I said, we're thrilled with the work you're doing. So,
thank you. So, I don't know, do we want to talk about what the energy spa work, or do we just want to jump into another question about whole being permission and loving ourselves with self-love? What do you guys want to do?
Well, maybe, Jeff, do a little completion around the process and get people grounded. And
yeah, that's a great idea.
So, a lot of you, as we talked about before, you might be feeling a little spacey, and particularly if you're going to do something like driving, we want to get you grounded. But for everybody, because you really want to embody what just happened. So a couple of things. When you do energy work in the way that we do it, you'll be feeling the effects you'll be processing it for days and weeks. So it's not done. And it's important to drink water, because you'll actually be releasing chemicals in your body as you shift. It's great if you do some kind of movement. You could dance, you could lightly stretch, you could do 3 hours of yoga. If you're into that, you can take a warm shower, take a walk, because the energy field in the body, you're so integrated that your body wants to align in a better way. So some kind of movement's great, water's great. And we really want to help you bring this into your body now. And there's a lot of ways to ground, and we have a way that's different than the way most people teach it. And so we'd like everybody to try it right now. So most people teach to ground that, you ground yourself into the earth. Well, for me, the earth's way more powerful than I am. So I give permission for the earth to ground me. So I'd like everybody, if you want this, give the earth's energy field, and you can think of the earth as a being or a collection of energies. But imagine from the heart of the earth, a column of energy comes up near the base of your spine, and give the earth permission to ground your authentic energy and your authentic energy only into your body. Because a lot of the energy in people's energy fields, most of it, in fact, isn't theirs. So give the earth permission to ground your authentic energy into your body. So it sends this tube of energy up near the base of your spine. Let the earth do all the work. You're just giving permission, setting intention, giving permission. And it can be fun to visualize it like there's a point of light in your energy field for every cell in your body. And when the earth grounds you, every point of light pops in the cell it belongs in. So it's like, boom, you're in your body. And then that column of energy from the earth is sending nurturing, loving, healing energies up into you. And it's also gently pulling out of you any energies your inner wisdom and spirit want you to release. So there's a flow up of what nurtures you and loves you and takes care of you and supports you. and a flow down back into the earth. Okay, so that should help people get grounded. Also, stomping your feet, patting your body. All those things help you get back. And then we'll have 100 people in a room like stomping their feet, you know.
Different kind of seminar.
Yeah.
Yeah, but amazing results, I'm sure. So I wanted to give you guys a chance to talk about these free gifts that you have here. So last week, we are inviting everyone to go to www.DrMaryOz freegifts.com. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, to the bottom of the present page, you'll see a free gift from Art and Jeff on 3 energy techniques that you absolutely want to know about. That was their gift from last week. And at some point today, you'll see another free gift go up. And I believe you're inviting us to a webinar, a life-changing video, right, Art?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you guys want to tell us about those gifts?
Yeah, Jeff, do you want to start with the first one? The 3 energy processes?
So the first 3 processes, so these are these 3 incredible techniques that help you really clear out your energy field and how to really clear out other people's energy from your field and their beliefs and programming. And the reason this is so important, especially around relationships and love, is because all of us tend to have a lot of other people's energy in our space. Sometimes it's from our ancestors and families, sometimes it's from friends, sometimes it's more cultural, and a lot of the energy tends to get in the way in our relationships. A lot of time what we're having conflict about or what's stopping us from attracting the kind of relationship we're wanting isn't even really our energy, isn't even really our own authentic beliefs. It's other energies in our space. So this free gift of these 3 processes gives you some amazing, powerful, but easy to use techniques to clear out your energy system so that you're resonating more of your own energy and can let that in, and how to retrieve your own energy. So again, you're more in you and how to ground more effectively.
Let me just add, those of you that know about clearing energy, we're also going to talk about how do you retrieve your energy from other people. Mm-hmm. But even more importantly, we're going to teach you how to start healing the hooks, the Velcro inside of you that other people's energy sticks to. Because if other people's energy is stuck in your field, it's stuck into something of yours, some programming, some karma, some contracts. And we're going to start teaching you ways to deal with that, which even I find most people who clear energy are completely unaware of how to do that.
Yeah.
So, Art, let me check in. We have 2 minutes left. So do you guys want to talk about the other gifts real quick?
Yes.
Yep. So real quick. So the second one is a recorded webinar. And just like for this one, when we're doing the energy processes on it, even on a recording, people will feel it and they'll do the work. In that one, we'll be taking people through another aspect of whole being permission, which is spiritual contracts. And that's a huge part of having permission to love yourself, have loving relationships, but everything in your life. And that one, that'll be an on-demand recording that's available as soon as the link's up. That'll be available right now. And again, even if people have done contracts work, we have a very unique way that we deal with it. We work with them that will profoundly affect your life. So that's the second free gift.
Yeah, and we would invite, because that's going to be available, I think, here by later today, really take the initiative, get on there and listen to it and clear those contracts, because it's amazing what it'll open up for you in your relationships. It was one of my really big needle movers in my relationship.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I want to thank you, Jeff, for being on the show, and thank you for who you are and all that you bring to us.
Well, likewise. Thank you so much, Dr. Mary. You're such an inspiration, and appreciate all the incredible wisdom and teachings and compassion that you're bringing out into the world on a daily basis. And thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. And thank you, Art. Thank you for creating Energetic NLP. And I know you've been at this for years and years and years. And just thank you for your gentleness and your warmth. And thank you for saying yes to being on the show.
Well, thrilled to be on it. And again, we're so appreciative that you're making your show available to people and your work with Radical Change. So thank you back.
Yeah. So I just want to let our guests know next week we'll be back here, Radical Change on the Empowerment Channel with Voice America. And it's kind of like the other side of what we went through today. Being conscientious of Valentine's Day, I know some clients of mine that are in the battle for their life. So unfortunately, there's something called parental alienation. So when a family goes through a difficult divorce and one parent is unhealthy and actually turns children, like people's own flesh and blood children, against the other parent. And that's sometimes called parental alienation. Other people call it abuse. But we have a guest coming on our show next week. Dorsey Prudo will be with us, all the way from California. She's a parental alienation co-parent, conscientious parent expert. And so for our next 2 weeks, we're going to dedicate it to, in my world, we're helping those moms and dads, those parents that are in tremendous pain. It's Valentine's Day is about lovers, but Valentine's Day is also about families and showing love to your children. So for today, that's a painful day for a lot of families because they're either missing their children or they feel like their children have changed drastically or they're just not able to physically see their children. So we're going to dedicate the next 2 shows to parental alienation. So be sure to join us next Wednesday, 1 p.m. here at the Radical Change Now show.
Thank you for tuning in this week for Radical Change Now. Be sure to join Dr. MaryOz again next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Time and 1 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Until then, have the best week of your life.